I feel like we really are on the cusp of a mass institutional adoption, both of DeFi and of other blockchain technologies. I think this is also like one of the key obstacles to mass retail adoption. A lot of people in the space previously thought that retail adoption was like the big wave, but I think institutional adoption is a precursor. You have to connect to where people are. You have to go to where the value is. You can't build a new financial system from zero, ignoring the existing financial system where everybody's money is, where all the value is, where the real world is, trillions of dollars in value. You can't just say, oh, forget about all that. Let's just build something new over here. That doesn't work. And so I think this wave of institutional adoption over the next year or two is going to be what's going to pave the way for mass retail adoption. And then we can deliver on those promises. Like, we all want to bank the unbanked, but like the unbanked, like they have to be able to spend their money to buy groceries and pay their phone bill, and so we have to have that institutional connectivity. And I don't think there are any obstacles. I think that's and I think this conference shows that.
Two scandals are cracking to some extent crypto's foundation this week: a big hack in Dubai and an alleged scam in Argentina, shaking some optimism throughout the industry. And Bitcoin prices are below 85,000 today. Let's bring in Mackenzie Sigalos with more. There's a lot going on here, Mackenzie, but this Ethereum issue is being blamed for some of the weakness we saw in crypto earlier in the week.
Yeah, it certainly is. And this past week has been a stark reminder that no amount of pro-crypto policy, even from a U.S. president, can protect the industry from perhaps its biggest weakness: security flaws in the technology itself. Now, the largest crypto hack in history just hit Dubai-based exchange Bybit, $1.5 billion stolen. North Korea's Lazarus Group is the prime suspect, using a sophisticated laundering scheme to move those funds. Now, Bybit is offering bounties to anyone who can help recover the stolen assets. They're literally crowdsourcing a digital manhunt, paying millions to individuals and companies that can track and freeze the stolen tokens. And this isn't the only turmoil in crypto. You've got world leaders who are now pushing meme coins. President Trump, First Lady Melania, and Argentina's President Javier Milei have all been tied to viral token launches. Trump's meme coin skyrocketed to a $14.5 billion market cap in a day. Now it's crashed over 80%. Melania's token is down 93% from its peak. And then in Argentina, the president promoted a token called Libra, claiming that it would help the economy. Then it collapsed, wiping out $4.6 billion in value. He's now facing a fraud investigation and calls for impeachment. And Kelly, markets are feeling the fallout. In the last week, you've got Bitcoin and Ethereum both down 10%, and there's been over $2 billion in Bitcoin ETF outflows, half of that just yesterday.
Are people in the crypto space connecting that to some of these issues you mentioned, like what happened with Ethereum or some of these other things, or does it just seem to be a risk-off mood?
I think it's a combination of both. So the hack specifically targeted Ether tokens, and then you've got the NASDAQ 100 that's down, and Bitcoin still very much trades like a high-risk tech stock.
Right, exactly. And we're seeing that today, to the upside and to the down, Mackenzie.
Yeah, so look, I think overall, if we look at what's happened with Bitcoin is 70% of crypto's market cap. So it is by and far the largest asset, just in terms of mindshare, in terms of liquidity. What we saw, Bitcoin teleported from 70K to 100K around Trump's election inauguration. We never really got prices in the 75 to 90K range. We're seeing prices fall off, and we're retesting that range. The ETF inflows and Michael Saylor's strategy buying Bitcoin propped up to bid for Bitcoin throughout Q4. Then we saw some retail fervor, hedge funds buying, as we saw from 13F filings a few weeks ago. So I think it's really just there was a massive bid for Bitcoin around expectations on a rally. That rally happened. Now we're seeing a retesting of this 85 to 90K range. And again, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of risk. Markets don't like uncertainty.
They're vulnerable to this hack.
Yeah, what's interesting about this hack specifically is it very much mirrors a breach that we know very well, SolarWinds, a few years ago from Russian hackers, where they were able to get access through social engineering methods. It's very similar to what happened here with North Korea and the Lazarus Group, get access to a developer's computer and then use that to upload code to the safe wallet infrastructure that then targeted the cold wallet infrastructure, which is supposed to be heavily more secure. It's considered offline, much harder to hack into, and they did a lot of research, a lot of understanding around the exchanges, the infrastructure, how these types of public and private key cryptography components work, and were able to really abuse that, showing that these are a major front of attack for these groups, and one of the largest heists that we've seen in cryptocurrency attacks ever.
Simply cannot sustain a country $2 trillion deficits. The interest rates, just the interest on the national debt, now exceeds the Defense Department spending. We spend a lot on the Defense Department, but we're spending like over $1 trillion on interest. If this continues, the country will become de facto bankrupt. It's not an optional thing, it is an essential thing. That's the reason I'm here. I'm taking a lot of flack and getting a lot of death threats, by the way. I mean, I like to stack them up, you know. But if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done.
I just wanted to ask you that President Trump put out a Truth Social today saying that everybody in the cabinet was happy with you. I just wondered if you had heard otherwise, and if you had heard anything about members of the cabinet who weren't happy with the way things were going, and if so, what are you doing to address those any dissatisfaction?
Let the cabinet speak just for a second. Are you unhappy with it? If you are, we'll throw them out of here. Is anybody unhappy? We have a lot of respect for Elon and that he's doing this, and some disagree a little bit, but I will tell you, for the most part, I think everyone's not only happy, they're thrilled.
25%. When does it go into effect?
April 2nd.
April 2nd for Canada, Mexico.
Correct.
And for
everything. Well, we have the fentanyl-related is a pause. If they can prove to the president they've done an excellent job, that's what they first do in 30 days.
Have you guys seen any
But then the overall is April 2nd. So the big transaction is April 2nd, but the fentanyl-related things, they're working hard on the border. At the end of that 30 days, they have to prove to the president that they've satisfied him to that regard. If they have, it's going to be hard to give them a pause, or he won't. It's going to be hard to satisfy.
We lose 300,000 people a year to fentanyl. Not 100, not 95, not 60 like you read. You know, you've been reading it for years. We lost, in my opinion, over the last couple of years, on average, maybe close to 300,000 people dead. Look, we support Canada, $200 billion a year in subsidies one way or the other. We let them make millions of cars. We let them send us lumber. We don't need their lumber. We're going to free up our lumber. Lee's going to do the head of environmental. We're going to free up our lumber. We have the best lumber there is. We don't need their lumber. What do we need their lumber for? When you look at we subsidize them $200 billion a year. Without us, Canada can't make it.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have David Schwartz saying that mass adoption is on its way. And we know DeFi is definitely the new banking. And regulation for stable coins will bring on staking. And if you watch my earlier video this afternoon, we see stable coins moving. The adoption is picking up. We will have the same system, the same owners. It's just going to be tokenized and put on blockchain. Remember, the same corporations, the same big banks have been funding crypto from the beginning. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Now, anytime Bitcoin pulls back, it's always someone to blame. Remember, the Fed is not going to take the blame that they took your money. They're always going to bring in a distraction. And those who've been with me from the beginning, we've seen it too many times. We know the whales are selling, and then the boogeyman is here. And this time is North Korea. But as this legacy market is being destroyed, we're going to have more boogeymen because remember, crypto, these digital assets are going to take the blame for the fall of this legacy market. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Now we have Elon on the deficit. Says that the United States can go bankrupt. And guys, don't forget, we've been went bankrupt. That's why they started just printing money out of thin air. And if you're printing in your own currency, you can never go bankrupt. But remember I told you, they're going to sell it to the people. They'll post online. All these people that are going to be losing their job and the people will cheer it on. I told y'all this before it even happened. because we're living in Babylon 2.0. Nobody cares about anyone these days. And if you have my first kid's book, you know how King Yeshua was able to save the village. And guess what? The only way we save the United States is getting back to the Most High and showing love to one another. But I don't think that's going to happen because the sheep stay distracted on things that don't matter, and my people perish from a lack of knowledge because they reject it. And guys, we have all the knowledge at our fingertips, and all the crazy things that are happening, people are still worried about things that don't matter. It is unbelievable. You can't make this stuff up. And we have Trump says that these tariffs are going to go into effect April 2nd. And remember what I told you. These tariffs are timed with the Fed cutting rates. If not, these markets would have been crashed. Remember, the Fed has plenty of ammo. And then plus, Scott Bessent has plenty of ammo. So right now, the only thing I see us getting is a correction. And we'll get a crash later on. But I told you the 3 things to watch out for that'll let us know that crash is right around the corner. Now we have Alexa gets an update. And if you listen to him, he described Alexa like it is a human. And remember, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. And we have Amazon as seeing the global consumer pulling back. And this just lets us know the Fed is definitely going to be cutting rates at the back half of this year because the job market is about to get crushed. Not just from Elon and Trump's Doge, the private sector will be implementing all this technology and letting people go. Automation is coming. And that's the reason why you definitely have to re-educate yourself, reinvent yourself, so therefore you're not left behind. Clearly, Jerome Powell told us this a long time ago. There's a lot of people that are going to get left behind, and what you don't want to be is useless. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
So we don't feel like this is a major correction underway as of yet. Our indicators do mostly point lower from an intermediate term perspective. So we're expecting it probably to get worse before it gets much better. This year to us is going to be likely a more of a consolidation, sort of choppier year. In a way, we're watching the secular bull trend, but it needs to take a pause at times. And we think that 2025 will be a pause year for the market. And as frustrating as it might be, especially when you're trying to assert a directional bias beyond the very short term, it will be constructive probably longer term to refresh that secular bull trend.
I think there are certain countries where maybe the economics or the macroeconomic factors are just more challenged, Germany being an example of that. But I think what happens in times where consumers are a little bit uneasy about different economic conditions is that customers tend to figure out who are they going to buy from. They tend to pick a smaller number of merchants they buy from. And because we have such broad selection and we have such low prices.
I'm thrilled to be joined by Panos Panay right now, fresh off stage, announcing Alexa Plus and a generative AI-infused Alexa. What new will this bring? What excites you the most here?
She's smarter. She's conversational. She's personalized to you. It's so exciting when you have a conversation with Alexa. It feels incredibly natural. But I think most exciting is she'll actually help you get some stuff done.
Amazon is going to charge for this Alexa Plus, $20 a month, if you're not a Prime member. Obviously, a lot of people are. And it comes as most of their rivals, most of the big AI firms are cutting prices or making their models free.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's kind of been this race to the bottom. So much in AI has been put on sale or made free, from OpenAI's O3 Mini, Grok's latest model, Copilot, Google's AI coding assistant. These are only some of the things that have been reduced or put on for free over the last few weeks. So you can't help but wonder if that pressure Jassy to give at least Prime members for free, because back in May of last year, Kate Rooney reported that in the early stages of planning, they were considering charging even Prime members for it. And if you figure there's, some 200,000 Prime members globally, that is a lot of AI for free. That's actually half of OpenAI users.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're going to get more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.